listening to The Burn. Gaming stuff, blazing fast.
Welcome to a new episode of The Burn, a podcast about gaming done blazing fast. I am Aviv Manoach.
And I am Omer Kaplan. And Aviv, I want to tell you about my first world problem I had during the intro. So
Yes.
I'm at work, right?
Yes.
Taking a break. Somebody brought a big tray full of cheese, and I picked one and I got it. And then I'm eating it just as a snack before we start the show. And the cheese have a really smoky flavor, and I'm drinking coffee together, and it tastes funny. So here's my first world problem before we start the show.
I didn't
That's
understand
it.
what was the problem.
Okay, smoky flavored cheese and coffee together in my mouth. It's not very good.
Okay. That does not fit the genre called first world problems. That is called I've eaten something that doesn't taste well. That's
Yes.
what is called.
I mean, it's definitely not third world problems, that's for sure.
I don't know. Maybe people in the developing countries also drink coffee and eat smoked flavored cheese. They can do that. You don't know.
Yes. No, I don't. Anyway, yes, it's tough life here.
Excellent. With that tangent that has nothing to do with this show, we are recording the game, The Burn, not the Game Burning podcast. That's another show. The Burn. Each episode we discussed one game we are playing and usually like. We have yet to record a podcast about a game we don't like. And some form of news topic from the last few weeks. And that's about it. It is going to take us about 30 minutes and we will be done. You can listen to The Burn. You can't listen on Twitch Live. I need to change that line because I've come to the conclusion that unless we do it together with the other shows and do an hour and a half of recording, there is simply no reason to do a 30 minutes show live. No reason. So we are not going to do that. But if you want to catch the other things I do live streaming, you can do so at twitch.tv/icel.me. But this podcast is at the website that is I lost my word. You can go to theburn.live. That's the address. Go to theburn.live. It will load our Anchor page and you can register and subscribe to however you listen to podcasts. That's what you can do. And also, if you catch us on iTunes or Google Podcasts or something like that, would appreciate it if you rate us and write reviews. That's nice. Also, if you see us on Twitter, then share the podcast because Omer has decided he is not going to participate in the social networking thing, and because of him, we are not getting new listeners. Yes, he's at fault. I've said it.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to address all the serious accusations that are flying around here. So first of all, you're losing your words because the website is theburn.live. But we're not live. So the solution for this problem is you should just invite me to an hour and a half of gaming talk, and then we can do it live. And we're also gonna get subscribers. And I haven't done the social networks things in a while. So I don't know. I have a complicated relationship with Twitter, Facebook, and all that crap. So
you're also speaking away from the microphone, and the last line was very quiet.
Oh, yeah, I'm kind of I was fading my voice. I was like, nah, I don't know. It's like, okay.
Stop
whatever.
touching the settings.
I literally hands off the desk. Hands off the desk. Everything's good. All right, perfect.
Okay, we'll go over to
Good
our
radio.
first
Let's
topic.
Go.
Yes, our first topic for this episode. We are going to talk about SteamWorld World Quest, the Hand of Gilgamech, that when I listened to our previous episode, I was certain at the beginning that it was a misquote and that you meant to actually say Gilgamesh. And then I understood that's supposed to be a pun about mechs and Gilgamesh, and that's Gilgamech, and that makes sense at the end. So yeah, Omer sold so well SteamWorld Quest when we talked about it in our annual review, that I wanted to bring it for a full segment in this episode. So Omer, please sell us again in more details SteamWorld Quest.
Okay, so I don't know if I should be insulted by the fact that you thought I'm misquoting, but okay, we should just move on.
You make mistakes all the time. It's in your character.
I'm only human, or at least so they say. All right, so SteamWorld Quest Hand of Gilgamech. Well, that's I have a really good story going on with image and form games. So everything they do is right up my alley with, a nice universe when they don't take themselves, and I think that's why the whole pun thing makes sense to me, because they're not taking themselves too seriously. It's so I started, I think my first game of image and form games I played was it started with SteamWorld Dig, which was introduced me to this whole cutesy robot cartoonish world. And the gameplay was great. The sound design was super nice and kind of expected. So all their games are polished in a way that's really suiting my playstyle, and the gameplay is always very good. So the SteamWorld Dig genre, which was I think it's kind of like a Metroid-esque platformer where you have to dig and find puzzles and stuff. Continued with SteamWorld Heist, which is kind of like a 2D XCOM-ish game, which is, by the way, it's an amazing game. If you haven't played it, go get it right now. It's super good. Also, kind of like a steampunk-ish robot theme. And then this game, SteamWorld Quest, breaking into another genre where they take the whole steampunk robot theme and wrap it inside a children's book atmosphere. So the same robots, but now they're dressed up as knights and wizards, and I'm not gonna spoil the story for you because it is kind of like a single player game, but it's all very there's puns all throughout, and they're not taking the world too seriously, and they're laughing at each other, and they're saying all the time, "Oh, what am I doing here? Why are you just funny?" And they're all playing their characters, but in a really humoristic way.
So they took the route of Hearthstone and put themselves in a game within a game world, sort of.
Yeah, pretty much. Although Hearthstone is taking World of Warcraft, a very serious game, or the Warcraft universe, a very serious universe, and lightening up a little bit with a casual game. That series has never been serious from the get-go. So they're always making fun of each other and the world and the genre, with every single game. So I mean, it is a game within a game world. It's kind of like a children's book, almost like a Knight's Tale within kind of a humoristic game world. So that's I mean, from a universe wise, it's very nice, and having a single player game is always nice. So the thing with those games, not only that the universe is very nice, the gameplay is always comparable and very solid experience. So here we're talking about it's kind of like a mix. It's a deck building game, but also a turn-based strategy game. So it's almost like Slay the Spire meets Magic the Gathering meets any progression-based map-based. No, it's also Slay the Spire. So you can probably see that. So what you're doing is it's almost meeting some JRPG element, which is also nice. So you're playing 3 robots from a set of, well, I'm not going to spoil it for you, but you get to 5 that you can choose from. And then you're walking around, kind of like JRPG style, in a world, and then you have all those encounters that you fight. So in those encounters, every robot have a set of cards that you can choose from. It's a limited set of cards, and everyone have like different abilities. One's a warrior, one's a mage, one is more like a tank, one is let's say a rogue, and all of those cards that you pick for your three main characters that participate in the encounter are mixed into one big deck. So every round you draw cards out of your deck, and those are the cards that you have for that specific turn. And then, so, you're getting cards for all robots, but you don't really know how they're going to come out in your hand. And then every turn, you get to play 3 cards out of the set of, I would say, 5 you have in your hand. So you can have synergies for specific characters. So if you play all 3 warrior cards, you get a bonus card with a special ability, or you can have combo cards between the characters. So let's say if a tank stuns someone with a card, then you have a wizard card where if the character is stunned, you get like a specific bonus. So you can have like a deck-wide synergy, or you can have a specific character synergy, and you usually mix both. And it makes for a very interesting encounters. You get all sorts of enemies. You get cards by either completing encounters, or every now and then you see a merchant and you can buy cards. Your characters gain XP, and with that experience they also get cards. So basically, it's not kind of your Hearthstone-y Magic the Gathering stuff of you get packs, you open packs, you get some things out of them. It's your progression gets you more cards. And like I said, it's a single player game, which makes it all of them more nice. Thoughts so far?
Only your characters use card and the enemies use whatever abilities they have, like Slay the Spire?
Yes. So the enemies, the enemies don't use cards on their turn. They have abilities. Sometimes the abilities are charged abilities. So they're charging something, but you don't know what it is. Kind of like Slay the Spire. Yeah, sort of, kind of. But yes, so enemy,
Okay.
different enemy. Yeah, so some enemies can, as opposed to Slay the Spire, some enemies can charge an ability, but play abilities on the next turn. It's not like they're charging an ability for turn 1, pausing turn 2, and then play the ability turn 3. So, some enemies can do both.
I didn't understand the difference.
It's like a nitpicky mechanic thing. I don't think when you see it, it'll be like very apparent. Another cool thing that you have in the encounter itself is that some cards are, let's say, basic abilities, and some cards cost, let's say, it's not mana, but it costs like a resource. And the more basic abilities you play, the more you charge the resource bar. And then the more resources you have, you can play more expensive cards. So when you build your deck, it's kind of like a deck building mechanic that they have. You have to play the right amount of basic abilities versus the right amount of, let's call it resource-based cards. So you can have all those cute combos.
That's actually nice. Very JRPG-ish.
Yes.
Rather than a specific card game mechanic. For example, they have it in Battle Chasers that I don't know I don't remember how they call it, the super hyper mega bar whatever
the ultimate super duper
that get charged up whenever you use the basic attacks, the normal attacks, and then you have the uniques for each character that does extra stuff. What else did I wanted to know? So we have a sort of RPG game with card mechanics that, as far as I understand from you, the only thing that the card add to this is that you don't know which will be available for each turn of the encounter. That's right? You have a deck and you draw from it. That's basically it.
Exactly. So all the cards for all the characters in a single deck. Every turn you draw cards from the deck, but you don't know what you're gonna get. You do get to redraw cards from the deck, but it's limited per turn. But that's like itty bitty mechanic thing. But that's the main gist of it.
You have a single deck for all of the characters in your party, but
yes,
but specific cards are used for abilities for specific characters.
Yes.
Cool. So you may draw randomly cards that will allow you to combo between characters, or you may not.
Exactly. So you don't really know. And I mean, there's more like complex like mechanic there. So let's say, for example, the wizard have types of damage. So the wizard, you can choose like ice magic cards, you can choose like flame magic cards, you can choose lightning damage cards, and based on the type of damage, you can combo that off other characters who have like interactions with fire damage, interaction with ice magic. So you can really have so I think the best way to like min max the game is have make sure that every character have combo for that specific character. So in case of you draw only like more warrior cards you can play with, you can have the warrior combo, and also mix and match the damage types and different combos so different characters can work together if you play those cards together. So that's kind of cool.
Okay. Do you have a hand limit?
I think the hand is limited. Don't quote me, but I think it's 6 cards. And then if you don't use 3 cards on your turn, you get to draw additional 3. So it's kind of like you always keep some extra in your hand.
Okay, you must stop using the phrase "don't quote me" because everything you say is quoted.
Yeah, I know. I'm just trying to have precautions because, like, when take what I say. The last time I played the game was last week, so take everything I say. That's like 90% accuracy.
Okay, and lastly,
by the way,
what?
Oh no, I was a funny story. I actually this week I finished Battle Chasers Night War. It was the grindiest of experiences. I just want to say
that's why I haven't continued playing it. Last thing, how long is the game? How much time do you put in it? Did you put in it so far?
Well, I want to say I'm taking the game really, really slow. I think I have like 20 something hours into it, and I haven't finished it yet. But I mean, I'm playing in like short intervals, and the thing is, if you like shut down the game and then restart, the levels reset. So I have been like grinding experience more than I should. Let's actually check how long to beat for that.
Yeah, I open it. It says that the game is supposed to be around 18 and a half hours or around 20 hours. So I don't know how have you stretched it so far.
Maybe I'm closer to finish the game than I thought. Like I have all the characters, so you start with the basics 3, and then you meet one more, and then you meet additional. So I have all the characters, so I'm pretty far into it. I don't think I'm close to the end, but maybe.
The longest data point they have here is 32 hours that someone played on the Switch, and 25 for PC.
Oh, okay, well.
So
I think I can get it done under 30.
Okay. Well,
I just need to have like longer Switch sessions. That's what I need.
Maybe. Okay, good. That's excellent. I actually wanted to buy it on Steam and forgot because I was at home for the last several days of the week. So I'm going to do it. I want to play it. Let's move on to...
Totally should.
Yeah, let's move on to news. Before news, I want to rant a bit about the Xbox Windows app. It's shit. Don't buy any games on it. No, the story goes like this. I bought a Discord Nitro subscription because I use it a lot. And I said to myself, yeah, I want to give those guys money because I like what they do and they are great in updating it and stuff like that. And you get a 3-month free subscription to Xbox Game Pass. Okay, I downloaded the Xbox beta app for Windows, and I looked at the games that the pass allow you to play, and I saw that they have Gears 5, and I said, and I wanted to play that, so I started downloading it. It took 3 days for the game to download because the app doesn't go above 1 megabyte down, and most of the time it was even less than that, and it got stuck, and I needed to restart it, and so on and so forth. That's the first thing that happened. It took forever to download. And then I started playing. I did the tutorial, and I went into the options menu to check, to optimize it for my PC, because that's what you do when you play on PC. And I saw that there is an option for an ultra texture pack. I clicked on it, and it said that it's installing, downloading, whatever. I went back to playing the tutorial, and I finished the tutorial. I closed the game, and I'm looking over at the Xbox app, and I see that it is downloading a 6.5 gigabyte update.
Wow.
I assumed it was the texture pack, so I told myself, I don't need this. I don't need it to download another 6.5 gigabit. So I click on the cancel button, and then I close the app, and about an hour later I restarted it, and the game is gone from the menu.
Oh no.
I'm going over to the game page. I see there is an install button, not a play button. I'm looking over at my hard drive, and the game is completely gone. Somehow, by canceling the update, the app decided to completely remove the game from my computer.
Oh no.
Yeah. So I haven't played Gears 5 yet.
maybe in a week when no, I didn't know what you're about to say. I was planning to say, like, after you said, I mean, the only issue I have with the Xbox app, it takes forever to download things, so I'm happy we both have the same experience.
Yeah.
It's
not even an issue of my download speeds, because Steam downloads 4 times quicker than the Xbox app. It gets to 4 megabits per second, and it stay like that. I don't need to reset the download every time. Anyway, so the Xbox.
The thing with the Steam app.
Yeah.
Oh no, the thing with the Steam app on my computer is that if I download something, I can no longer use the internet for anything because it takes up all the download bandwidth.
Yeah, so but that's true for anything.
Yeah, but that's pretty good though. I'm happy with it. Like, give me the game in 30 minutes. I'll go read a book. I'll come back later. It'll be fine. Yeah,
so that's my rant. And now a couple of things for the news. I went over my RSS feed, and I saw a couple of different articles talking about trends in 2019 and stuff like that. And I said, okay, let's do a bit of a roundup of things that happened in the past year, and we'll do this quickly. So the first link to Twitter's blog. Twitter did compilation of the most talked about games in the past year. So in general, they say that 1.2 billion tweets about gaming, up 20% year over year, which is the interesting point, because raw numbers give us nothing, but understanding that there is an increase in chatter about games. Now, if you go over the list, maybe you'll know more of the games here than I do, but for what I can see, there are a lot more people talking about mobile games on Twitter than big console AAA things. We have here Fortnite, of course. We have Minecraft, which continues to be one of the most popular games around, despite not having much presence on stuff like Twitch. We have Super Smash Brothers. We have PUBG. And then we have Final Fantasy, which I think that's around two things that were big this year. One is the new expansion for Final Fantasy 14 that was very, very popular. And the other thing is the promotion of the Final Fantasy 7 remake that people are talking about a lot. And then we have things like Fate Grand Order and an Identity 5 and Grand Blue Fantasy and Ensemble Stars and Monster Strike. All are games I know nothing about besides Fate. Fate Grand Order, it's part of a series called Fate Stay Night. That was the original. It was originally... how do you call it, a visual novel which was adapted to an anime, and there are a lot of anime series in the Fate franchise, and a lot of them are on Netflix, so if you're so inclined, you can watch it. And Grand Order is one of the games for that franchise, but I have no idea what are the other games here. I think a lot of them are more Asia-focused, because they have a much larger mobile scene than the West. So that's what I think those numbers show us. You, Omer, will be interested to see the most talked about esports team of 2019. And I know...
Yeah, that's pretty surprising, actually.
Yeah, so talk about this, because I only know two names out of this list.
So just looking at the names, it just shows how big I always underestimate the Counter-Strike scene, and I always get surprised by how enormous that is. So FaZe Clan is mostly Counter-Strike, and they had some big. They had a big year. I wanted to say don't quote me, but honestly, don't quote me. I think they had a big viral story. They signed somebody who speaks sign language this year, and it was a big deal, so it got a lot of traction. G2 Esports made it to the World Final of League of Legends, so that makes sense. Cloud9 also across game organization, Fnatic, Hunter Thieves, so a lot of League of Legends. Opti Gaming had some presence, also a big Counter-Strike organization. So interesting. So I would say League of Legends and Counter-Strike are getting the most representation here from an esports perspective.
It's interesting to me that Counter-Strike keep staying up in people's minds.
I'm telling you, I'm looking at.
Yeah.
No, I'm looking at statistics from my esports website project, and Counter-Strike is always big, so it's pretty amazing.
Cool. The next thing that Twitter show here is the countries tweeting. So most of them are what you would expect: Japan, United States, South Korea, a bunch of European countries. But then you have places like Thailand, which is very surprising to me. Brazil is not surprising to me, because I know from my job that they have a very active scene over there. But Thailand, Indonesia, and the Philippines are quite surprising to me, and that they are on the top 10.
I know that there was a group from Thailand that made it pretty deep into the League of Legends worlds, but that'd be interesting to cross-reference games by country. That would have been interesting, and you would have seen which countries are more about mobile games and which are more toward big PC and console games. And then we have the talked about gaming events and esport events. So E3 surprisingly actually keep dominating and number one, even though it shrunk and companies are living it, but it's still there. And then I don't think anything here is very surprising. Paris Games Week. I heard nothing about it, but apparently a lot of people talked about it on Twitter. And on maybe there was a big lunch or something.
Maybe not of games I heard about. And then on the esports event, we have LOL Worlds, EVO, Fortnite World Cup, International for Dota, Overwatch League, all things that to be expected, nothing important here. And then there's the personalities section that not very interesting to me. The last thing I want to, we don't have much time to go over the next one, so I did link in the show notes an article titled "The number of Steam releases remain relatively flat from 2018 to 19," which is interesting because on the past 2 years, there was always a jump of titles launch, but this was mostly because Steam actively encouraged more people to post to their platform, and this year was the first one in several years that we didn't hear anything new about Steam promoting their store. There was a couple of updates to the program, a couple of updates to the homepage, but nothing new in the developers' relation front. And for a good and for better or worse, because Steam had a lot of controversies surrounding their store, and 2019 was relatively quiet year. And the last link I'm putting here is a bit of a self-promotion because it's the Stream Elements State of the Stream report for the last quarter of 2019. If you are not aware, I'm the community manager, one of the community managers for Stream Elements. So if you want to see a bunch of interesting data about the world of live streaming content, you can do so. The one of the outtakes from the title of our report is that Facebook gaming grew 200% over the last quarter, which is quite an interesting find. But we don't have time to get into it, so we won't. That's it all. Omer, you have any last words for the episode?
Last words. Drink a lot of water. Stay away from the snow. Don't eat the yellow snow. Is that good? I don't know.
Okay, that is fine.
Words of wisdom. Don't eat smoky cheese and drink coffee together.
Exactly. That was all we have for today. Thank you for listening. You can find us online on Twitter as Icel and Omer Kaplan. Maybe if you bug Omer on Twitter, he would actually participate and promote our show, and we'll get more people to listen. Subscribe to the podcast on theburn.live, leave comment and reviews on your favorite listening app, and as always, our theme music was created by Ann Dorko with vocals by Fishy, Twitch, both on Twitter as well. That's about it, and we will be with you in the next episode. Thank you, Omer.
All right. Yeah, glad to be here.
And that's it. Goodbye.
All right. See you.